Johnny Depp was given a guitar by his mother at the age of 12, and when he turned 16, he dropped out of high school to become a rock musician. 2 weeks after dropping out, Depp attempted to return to school, but his principal refused and encouraged the young lad to pursue his dream of being a musician. Since then, Depp has made some minor contributions to popular music, playing guitar occasionally for big-name artists like Iggy Pop and bands like Oasis. The famous actor and abuser is even technically part of a supergroup, the Hollywood Vampires, founded by Depp, Alice Cooper, and Joe Perry. But Johnny's biggest contribution to popular music came in 1993, with the release of the sleeper hit rom-com dram film, Benny and June. You see, Depp charmed audiences the world over with his portrayal of a silent films fetishist who falls in love with a mentally ill woman. But people didn't leave the theaters thinking about this Golden Globes-nominated performance. They left with one of the main theme songs of the movie stuck in their head, a song that had already hit number 11 on the UK singles chart and topped the charts in Australia, Iceland, and New Zealand 5 years ago in 1988. Quote, I can remember sitting at the piano and the chords just came to me. I reckon I just wrote the whole thing in 45 minutes. I knew that it was a good song, maybe even a single, but I had no idea how popular it would become, said Craig Reid, one half of the Proclaimers, the Scottish rock duo composed of Craig and his twin brother, Charlie Reid. The song the brothers wrote in a flat in Edinburgh while waiting to play a gig in Aberdeen was the lead single off the duo's second studio album, Sunshine on Leith, and from a financial perspective, the only song they ever needed. According to Craig, this one single alone now earns them 5 times more money than the rest of their discography combined. And before you go saying something crazy like, oh, these guys are just a one-hit wonder anyway, don't forget that they also had a song prominently featured in arguably the greatest animated film ever made, Shrek. Oddly enough, that song is also kind of about walking, but unlike today's song, they don't specify the distance. That's right, we're talking I'm Gonna Be, brackets 500 miles by the Proclaimers on Cover Me.
But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that compares famous songs to their many cover versions to find out which one's gonna wake up next to you. I'm your host, as always, The Snake, joined by my havering co-host,
Alex Mildenberger.
Non-stop talking, slow down.
Havering.
Just constantly havering.
Well, I mean, at least if I haver, I'll be havering to you.
You'll be havering to me. We haver to each other here on Cover Me every week.
All we do is haver. And even
havering.
one time, havered about the Proclaimers.
That's right.
A while back for their
cover of Whole Wide World. Another song about walking a lot.
Another song about walking a lot.
Or traveling a lot, at least.
At least moving, right?
Yes. Right? Fucking all the songs they write about going places, you think this band would be called Journey, am I right? Alex, how you doing today?
How am I doing? Doing pretty good today. We took a turn for the summer here in Calgary, so it's very sunny,
too, man.
Very, very warm. I have a. It's relevant because I have a deck now because I moved recently.
Oh my! You've got
I have a balcony. I have a balcony, and I can eat out there and stuff.
Yes,
and I have some chairs, so it's very, very nice out there. We had this little squirrel friend. We attempted to put up a bird feeder. But apparently we got the wrong type of bird seed, and then the wind blew it over, and anyway, squirrels were eating all of our sunflower seeds. So yeah.
Well, that rocks. I briefly had a balcony in my life, and I would eat breakfasts out there sometime. But then wasps would always come and hover around there, so it was stressful sometimes. But yeah, it's like the one thing in this world that can make you feel like a king is eating off a balcony.
Eating off a balcony and just like feeling the breeze.
Yeah.
As the sun rises or moves, whatever.
Yeah, as rises, sets, blazes from on high, wherever the sun is. It doesn't even matter.
Just the sun's got to be around, kind of.
Around, yeah. It's just flavoring, man, and it tastes good.
Yeah. Your breakfast or whatever.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Great. That's great. Do you have? I know you said you were gonna get a barbecue. Do you have one yet?
No barbecue. No barbecue, but I do have a large grease stain where the last people who lived here had a barbecue, so I know where to put it.
So at least you know where to put it, yeah. That's excellent. But we're not talking about barbecues in summer and sunshine. We're talking about the Proclaimers.
Yeah, we're talking about music.
The two-hit wonder. One for each of the twins.
One for each of the twins. Yeah. That's fun. Twin band. I mean, we talked about sibling bands a little while ago.
That's right. Almost exactly a year ago.
Prominent sibling band.
Yeah,
I say prominent. They have a very well-known hit. You know?
Yes.
Like, it's pretty, I think, to the point where it's kind of annoying for some people.
Yeah. Wasn't it featured in How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah. There was a whole bit in How I Met Your Mother about how they, like, it was one of the characters' car. His car had, like, the tape of this song stuck in it, so they just had to listen to it over and over again.
Right.
So they would go on road trips and just...
And that would be it.
Repeat.
I do remember, and here's the thing is I remember taking some road trips, or at least one, where Stephen Reynolds, friend of the podcast, previous guest, forced this bit upon us. He was just like, it's all we're listening to. Inspired by the TV show, so
sure.
That's why I know, I think that's why I know this song super duper well, beyond also just knowing it from, because it's been everywhere all the time, always.
Yeah. I don't think I was on that road trip. Or I wasn't in that vehicle.
Or you weren't in that car. I can't remember which trip it was, but yeah, it was a selection of us, and that was our listening material.
Fun. I mean, the show had a whole, I mean, the bit was like, oh, first you like it, then you get sick of it, and then he comes back around again, and then you get, it's like comes in waves kind of thing.
Yeah.
So was it like that?
Kind of, and I think, like now my like love barometer is just broken. I just like the song. I think it's a blast.
Yeah, I know I always complain, or used to complain about things being overplayed, but I don't feel that strongly about it anymore for a lot of things. Or like songs that annoy people, I'm like, it's still. What did you say?
I said there's some I still can't do. Like I haven't listened to Bohemian Rhapsody of my own accord in over a decade.
Long time. Yeah, I guess so. But I'm more just like, I'll stay away from it than like if I hear it, I'm not like, I need to destroy something.
Yeah, I just avoid it. And same with Don't Stop Believing. Like,
yeah.
That's just like, I just have to leave those things be. And if they come into my life, just deal with it then. But yeah, by and large, I'm not like campaigning against any song for being overplayed.
But is this song overplayed? Maybe. But it certainly wasn't for the first 5 years of its life.
No, at least not in the West, in the New World.
The New World.
It was big everywhere else almost, but not here.
It's very fun that some random movie that isn't really remembered.
Yeah, it was
like,
it's because I was looking, I was like, is Benny and June like a hit? Is it good? And they're like, well, it's kind of a sleeper hit. It came at a time there's a lot of action films, and they're like, oh, rom-com, we can love and laugh again.
Sounds like it was like a decent movie, but also it's like it has a rating of like B.
Yeah,
like,
B. It's like its like average rating
movie.
On Rotten Tomatoes is like 5.8 out of 10. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Like it's fine for most people. Right. But this song, oof. But honestly, in terms of the Proclaimers, like as much as I heard this song and knew this song, I was big into the Shrek soundtrack. I'm on my way was really more my thing.
Yeah, I gave it a listen this week, and I realized I really only know the parts that play in Shrek.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't really know. Like, we used to listen to the CD so much.
Right.
We knew the whole thing.
CD.
My siblings and I should say. That's who we are.
That's got to be a good soundtrack, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we used to listen to the first two Shrek soundtracks, like, constantly.
That's a pretty, like, solid selection of pop. I'm seeing now you can only get Shrek 2 on Tidal.
Yeah, which is, I think the same is true of Spotify, because I remember trying to look for it. There's some good stuff on that one, too.
Yeah,
for sure. There's Accidentally in Love, Counting Crows. That's a good one.
I'm holding out for a hero. Like, and they're like cover versions, a lot of these, but it's like, that's not bad. But yeah, dog, that's the Proclaimers. Yeah, they feel like a novelty band, even more so than a one-hit wonder or two-hit wonder.
They kind of do, but they're just like very Scottish and like
super Scottish.
They just make their music and it's kind of whatever. Like they're very like respectable in my eyes.
Yeah, they even like looking at their picture on Tidal, they just look like two dudes. Like they're both wearing. Like, of course, they look the same. They're both wearing glasses and just like plain shirts. And yeah, they're just like unapologetically Scottish, but also like button down at the same time.
Yeah, and just like they like to make music and maybe and like have some fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We have some fun this week. It's a fun, jaunty little tune. Should we just get into these lyrics?
Yeah, let's talk about some lyrics.
Let's talk about these lyrics. And I'm going to try not to do a Scottish accent while I do it.
Yep.
Not only because I can't, but because it would be disrespectful to try.
Maybe.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm going to be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm going to be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm going to be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm going to be the man who's havering to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Like, it's several lines that have the same structure, more or less. And it's like a straightforward, like, I like a love song, like proclamation. Like, that's the other thing about this song. They're the proclaimers. This sounds like such a proclamation. Like, this, it had to be their signature song, right? Yeah,
everything. Yeah, it's like, when I do this, this is what it will be. And you're like, okay, he's proclaimed it, so it shall be.
So it shall be. And yeah, it's just a lot of like, when I do this, I want to do it with you. When I do this, I want to do it with you, you know? Even up to and including havering, which
I always thought was puking.
Yeah, but I guess it's like, is it chunder?
Yeah, chunder from Land Down Under.
Yeah, a song I kind of associate with this one, perhaps unfairly.
Yeah, that's weird. It kind of connects to that, which, as we discussed the other week, I kind of connect to Africa.
Right.
They're all kind of around the same-ish time, like 80s loosely, maybe later half of the 80s.
Yeah, I can see why, like, in terms of novelty music, I can see why they would maybe occupy the same brain space.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I did at one point confuse these guys and
men at work.
Men at work.
Yeah, the men at work.
Even though they do have completely different accents, but to me, I was just like, brogue, yes.
Yeah.
I'm set.
You're like, I get it. It's some foreign white dudes.
Yeah.
Singing a song loosely about travel.
So, it's happened. It's happened. I think I did it on this show one time, actually, like years ago.
I believe it.
But yeah, that's the structure of the song. It's a love song, and they just like, I want to do this with you. And like simple, like wake up together, cool, like go. I mean, to reference something we talked about way back in Whole Wide World, they're just going, right? Like, it's very general and vague. Like, what are you doing? I'm going.
When I go out.
Along. Yeah.
When I go along with you. And also very, I think, and this is perhaps in contrast to the chorus, very simple, doable, achievable things. When I wake up, it's going to be beside you. When we're going out for whatever, it's going to be with you. If I get drunk, I'm going to be drunk next to you. And if there's somebody I'm havering, rambling, babbling to, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
So it's simple, it's kind of cozy, it's kind of sweet. And then the chorus jumps in, but I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
Fall down at your door. Yeah, kind of fun. I mean, obviously, there you go. You get a little math in there. You walk 500 miles twice, you get 1,000 miles. And it's a long distance, so you're very tired, so you just collapse when you're there. But it's worth it, because he wants to get to this other person.
Yeah, and he would do it just to be with this person, to do all these simple things listed in verse 1.
Yeah. It's I guess about sacrifice, generally. It's just like, I would do this difficult thing so that we can be together.
Yeah, I wonder if it's even sacrifice or just like willingness to do things. Like, it's because he's not even like, I would walk 500 miles. I know it would eat up my time, and like I wouldn't be able to go to work in that period. So he doesn't like focus too much on sacrifice, but more like, I would do a ridiculous task just for the pleasure of falling down, possibly dead or just exhausted at your door.
Right. Just so
I would do great things for simple pleasure. I get kind of sacrifice, but this doesn't strike me. It's not like the song My Sacrifice by Creed.
It certainly is not.
So, and cheekiness too, because it's a funny thing to be like, I would walk 500 miles. And fuck it, I'd do another 500.
Yeah. And then like to just collapse at the end.
Yeah, and to collapse. So yeah, it is about, it's a song that's meant to be silly, and I think meant to be like, and it's like proclamations like this are sort of parodied in a Flight of the Conchords song. At least from the TV show, it's not like a full song where he's like, or Brett's writing a piece for a girl he met, and he's like, "I'd climb the highest mountain," and then Jermaine's like, "Well, would you actually do any of that?" He's like, "No, I don't want to do this." He's like, "Would you actually climb the highest mountain?" He's like, "No, I don't want to do that." He's like, "Okay, well, don't say that then." But here you get it, and it's funny, I think.
Yeah, it's a little more understated here, but
yeah.
Definitely,
and he acknowledges, how much of a burden it will be by he's falling down at your door at the end.
Yeah, exactly, and it's simple, so it's kind of endearing.
Yeah, and I guess we have to talk about it being their door versus his proclaimed goals of waking up next to this person. They're either not living together or not even dating at this point.
Yeah, I guess, but I think it's kind of metaphor more so,
I guess our door wouldn't sound as good.
Yeah, but it's just like they're away from him. Like if they are hypothetically away from him, he would expend a lot of energy to get as close as he could. Like he also in this case doesn't even make it to them, right? Like he collapses at the door.
Yeah, he's just shy.
Yeah. So he almost makes it. If he could have gone 1,000.1 miles, he would have been fine. But
just
it's
need
too
that
far.
extra few meters there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. And then we move to verse 2, which is kind of the same as the first verse, but new stuff. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm going to be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm going to be the man who comes back home to you. And if I grow old, well, I know I'm going to be the man who's growing old with you.
With you. Yeah, this one is more like, kind of like, they're all kind of cliches of wake up together, go out together. But this one to me is more of like, you're talking about being like a provider, right? And and buying you the things you want. And again, coming home, similar to the going out, but now coming home. And growing old together.
And the mundane shit, right? He's talking about the day-to-day, the work week. He's like, listen, it's not like we're spending every minute together. When I'm out working, I'm doing it for you. When the money comes in, it's to keep you happy. Besides the amount I keep to get drunk with. Yeah. And together though. We'll still be there together, but I pass almost every penny on to you except what I need to fucking get sloshed. And I'm gonna come home to you and we're gonna grow old together. Simple, easy, sweet. That's verse 2. Chorus hits again. Very important, this next part. Da 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 dum 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 da 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 da.
We'll probably cover that a little more in in the other part.
Yeah, I think so. It's crazy though because I just always thought they said shot of vodka here.
Did you?
No. Why the fuck would I
think
that?
So.
Why would
I did not think so. There's no fucking way, man.
Not a fucking chance. Verse 3 though. When I'm lonely, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's lonely without you. And when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm gonna dream. I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you. When I go out, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. And when I come home, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home. And Genius is wrong here. There's no TH on with. It's actually with you.
With you? I don't doubt that.
Listen. If you listen, you hear it.
Gotta respect the brogue.
Gotta respect my brogues. What? Hang on. You gotta break down brogue for me because I
think
don't
it just
know what
means
the fuck you're talking about.
Notable accent, right?
Is that it? So if you're a dashing brogue...
strong dialectal accent. Especially strong Irish or Scottish when speaking English.
Okay, so not a strong outdoor shoe with ornamental perforated patterns in the leather?
Apparently, it is also a heavy shoe of untanned leather formerly worn in Scotland and Ireland, so it's kind of related.
Okay, market accent, especially Irish or Scottish when speaking English. Interesting.
There you
go. A little linguistics for y'all. Here. So we get kind of like a precursor to the Aerosmith song in this verse.
Don't want to miss a thing.
Yes. It's like, oh, if I forget, I don't want to miss a thing because he talks about dreaming about him.
True. Talks about dreaming. But it's also I mean, this verse is going to change a bit in some of the cover versions.
Yeah.
But in this version, at least, it stays positive, and it's like, oh, sometimes we're not together, and I'll be lonely. But like,
Yeah, the amount of people who want to murder the lover in this just for some sadness, I'm like, back up.
Yeah.
I'm going to dream about the time when I'm with you, not the time I had with you, you fucking psychos.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there, though.
That. And yeah, I can dream about it, like, all the time. Like you said, similar to Aerosmith. Like, even when I'm not with you, I'm going to dream of you. A little more positive, though, because it's not like, it's like good enough, you know?
Yeah.
It's like accepting of all these things. It's like, yeah, sometimes things I won't be happy, you know? But it's okay because I still have you to think about and be with afterwards.
Yeah, he's like, listen, it'll do. It's just part of the routine. And we get a kind of repetition of when I go out and come home, because that's kind of the meat of it, right? Whether I'm leaving or coming home, it's with and or for you.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, everything I do. But that's the lyrics, man.
Yeah, because just repeats the chorus and then an extended post-chorus and then more chorus. Yeah, that's it. And it's a very focused song. We talked about focused songs before.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's great to sing along to.
Yeah. Now, did you say focused or folkish?
Focused.
Okay, because both would apply.
Both would apply, yeah.
It is. It's right down the line. Here's the concept, and it makes it great and easy to sing along to. What also makes it great and easy to sing along to is, of course, the composition of the song, how it's actually played.
Yes, absolutely.
What does it sound like? It sounds like a bit of guitar.
It does sound like a bit of guitar. They start with that. I mean, the intro. Again, there's a lot of like iconic things about this song, and maybe it's just because it's become popular. But like da 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 da, you know, on that muted guitar.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of hi-hat, and it's like, I don't know, it's a good opening.
Yeah. Especially because you know how high it's going to get.
True.
We'll talk more about how, like, especially the brother doing harmonies just fucking starts losing it on the final chorus.
Yeah, he just goes for it.
But yeah, we start so simple, much like the song itself. It's like, we're going to do some basic shit, and it's going to be cool, you'll see. And then we hit the chorus, and it's like, but I do fucking crazy shit, and it's done musically as well.
Yeah.
So we start out nice and low, nice and simple. Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and then like he comes in pretty soon. He starts singing in his accent, and then you start to hear like some drums and some bass. They just play a bit.
Yeah, that accent. I think, and I don't know how much they're doing it performatively and how much of it is just natural, but it sells a lot of this song, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of groups will, like, you can't hear the Scottish accent, because I'm trying to think of, like, other Scottish groups, and I'm like, oh my gosh. The guys who do that one song?
Oh, of course, yeah. How could I forget? I can't even think of a Scottish group right now.
Scottish, they're called... Oh my gosh. You know.
The Proclaimers. Bell and Sebastian Chiverches. Wet, wet, wet.
Oh my gosh. Hang on. I need 1 second. Let me think.
Ian Anderson.
That song. They do. Don't you forget about me.
Oh, oh my God. How do I not know that?
Simple Minds.
Simple
Minds. They're Scottish.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah, Scottish rock band. Okay.
Yeah.
Simple Minds, which is like, they don't sound Scottish.
No, when they're singing, they don't sound Scottish at all.
I mean, the other thing about this, obviously, like, there's some novelty of just like accents. I don't know why. I remember being really into that. Yeah, when I was younger, and that's one of the reasons Shrek was like so into that, and like anything Mike Myers did. Oh, yeah. He would always just do accents and stuff.
Yeah, always do accents.
So it's there.
I've realized, I don't think like impressions and accents are as beloved as they used to be in comedy, but it is a lot of what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Like Mike Myers does voices. Jim Carrey, I think, does a few voices. Eddie Murphy, even before that, like he's got characters and voices.
Yeah, they just did like silly voices, and like I'll do that now just all the time. I'm like, is this funny? I don't know.
I don't know. It's dated. But like, yeah, there's something I enjoy about a good impression or a good accent. But that's a tricky thing to do these days, you know?
It is. It's easy, I think, to be insensitive when you do that as well.
Oh, for sure.
And like, certainly I have more knowledge of that now, but back then it was like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't care. It's funny. You sound silly, and I'm going to make fun of it, but it's...
Yeah.
I think there's a way to do it lovingly.
Yeah.
And of course, luckily, as like a global society, we've all decided to pick on Italians. We're like, well, hey, if you can't do an accent, just do an Italian one. We'll all laugh.
Do an Italian one. Do the hand thing.
Do the hand thing. What are they going to do about it? Make a pizza? What
are they going to do? Take over the Mediterranean again? Hey.
Yeah, I'd like to see them try.
All right.
All right. So yeah,
we're still on the intro. We're talking
all this to say, introduction, Scottish voice, muted guitar, and then bass and drum enter on "Get Drunk," more drum rather, because it's just the hi-hat. Get drunk.
Yeah, and then you get the bump, bump, bump.
And then like a very simple, like the transition to the chorus from there is like a cymbal crash.
Just a cymbal crash? It's pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, later on, there's actually kind of a transition, but in this one, they just go right into it. The guitar stops muting, but like it's playing a similar pattern. Drums and bass become more regular because before they're just playing like the bump, bump.
Yeah. They're like everything gets a little more consistent, unmuted, louder.
Chorus stuff.
Yeah. And of course, then that kind of carries into the second verse, which is also a bit louder.
What about the backup vocals?
And hi!
There's backup vocals.
They're backup vocals, and they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, because he's really like, it feels like he's pushing. That's, I think, Charlie.
Yeah.
On the backups. Yeah, he's like kind of shouting. I mean, they kind of shout, right?
Yeah, they like, kind of shout.
They proclaim.
And so yeah, he's doing that. He's singing like "Hi"
when I come home. Yeah.
And
later.
That's on the next like verse when he starts doing the hype up repetitions. But here he's just doing the harmonies with a little bit of coarseness in those vocals. He's got to be far from Mike the way he's fucking screaming here, and it just tinges that. And then you're like, there's no way he can make this any huger. And of course, when we get to the final chorus, somehow he just shouts every second syllable. He's just dropping syllables.
Yeah, that's fun. That's very fun when he just drops the syllables. And then he kind of like almost like pants also, like sounding like he's like struggling.
Kind of like he's been doing the 500 and extra 500 miles this whole time.
And he's, just like out of breath.
Yeah.
And about to collapse. And he like does it. And it sounds like weird, but cool.
Yeah, that's so great. And really sells it. And way to go with the harmonies on this, because they really add that extra bit of oomph.
Yeah, you don't often get that sort of performance out of the harmonies. You have to like backup singers, right?
Or he's like I'm going harder than the lead vocals. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, we do move into that second verse. Very similar to the first one. Like you're not as muted anymore. Similar, and then the backup vocals also stick around for that verse. So you get a little more of that. Like this is when they start to break away.
Yeah, and you get the "When I Come Home."
When I come home. Yeah. When I come home. Yeah, and that's like the big thing in there, because then you get back into another chorus, very similar, but there's a tambourine now.
Tambourine. Yeah, the kind of extra backing vocals. It's a great way, because like it is a simple song, very focused, so it's a great way to like keep it interesting.
Yeah, just a little something. But there's also some interesting things coming up, because we got another iconic section.
Oh yeah,
approaching the post-chorus.
Yes,
which is like so much fun. The da-da-da-da.
Ba-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. They like trade it off.
Yeah.
For that first bit, da da da, little call and response there. They're just doing the same thing. And then they do that. They do their. I don't know. I mean, this is the part. It's not even words, right?
Yeah.
Like, to sing along with this part, great.
Yeah,
it's great.
And you're able. Everybody's easily able to pick which fucking da-da-da-da they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then everybody comes together on the dum-da-da-dum-da-da-dum-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, you can just like naturally split it up into the group.
Yeah.
Whoever you're singing with.
Whoever you're with. Yeah. Any size of people, you're naturally going to kind of find your spot and be like, okay, well, we've got too many people on the first da-da-da-da. I'm going to move to the second one. And then we all come together. Yeah.
It is great. It's one of those things that you just like know. You're like, well, we got to split it up.
Yeah.
We got to each do half of it. Of course.
That's
what's happening here. And the other thing that happens in this section, like they bring in some keys.
Yeah.
So you get a little keyboard playing along. Yeah.
Yeah, and that key is basically doing their vocal melody there, the same ba-da-da-da.
Yeah,
but
following.
Like, stretched out on the keys there. Yeah, great part of the song. I guess it's easy to write a song in 45 minutes when 2 chunks of it are ba-da-da-da.
Yeah. But I mean, just that they have that part and like it's so good to respond to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? Like, it just kind of like emotionally connects to the song, which is just about like ultimately like good vibes. It's just like, here's a section where we're just gonna make a noise of joy.
Make a noise a lot. It'll be cool. Trust me.
Trust me on this one. People are gonna like this. I know I just wrote
da-da-da-da several times on this piece of paper, but it's gonna work.
Yeah, it looks like shit on the page, but once we get this on wax, you're gonna like it.
And there is another verse.
Yeah.
It's kind of in between the first 2 verses, at least at first.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
yeah, we kind of like tear down in the first half of this verse.
Yeah, exactly. So like, there's still guitar strumming, but like it's like more muted, and like the drums and bass aren't playing their full thing. But then it does build in the second half. The other thing that happens here is they sort of switch up their chord progression right at the end.
Right.
And then they do like a harmony or they do like "Be the Man Who's Coming Home" with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is
like
a big
resolves differently.
This is like, and because I'm now thinking back to that car ride where I had to listen. You eventually pick up on like when this part's gonna come.
Yeah.
And so I also like I love this part of the song, and it's such a great way to like imply some finality on the verses.
Yeah, it's such a small thing, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home to you. Dun 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 bum 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 bum. It's it's over. We're gonna hit the chorus victory laps.
Yeah. This is also, I mean, this is where you get the sort of transition into the chorus where it was a bit quicker before.
Mm-hmm.
Now they wait a bit and then go right into that. And on top of that,
a
whole other post-chorus section that you do again just to get like hyped up.
Yeah. It's like Craig Reed's like, oh, I knew this song was a good song, and like I didn't know how popular it'd be. It feels like the way the song is like put together that he kind of knew it was going to be like a sort of pub hit, because I think that lead into the final chorus section says like, you guys know what's coming up.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of built to hype people up.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just always do that, or like, because you could still do that in a less good song, but
I guess, yeah, and it just wouldn't hit, and people would be like, "Oh, you thought we were gonna like this, but like,
you thought we were gonna sing along to your pub jam,
to your little fucking pub jam about walking along? Get the fuck out of here!
Get out of here! We're just let us drink in peace."
Yeah, you fucking weirdo twins, get out of here,
weirdo twins. Yeah, and this is also where he does that skipping syllable thing. In this final chorus, or after the
because they do this one, they do another da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
because you didn't think that was coming back, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get another chorus.
Yeah, which is fun. Yeah, you see him kind of like act like he can't keep up, but he can keep up.
Yeah,
he's probably doing more work, pretending to not be able to do the work.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like I've even thought about doing it in my head, and I'm like, wait, which syllables is he dropping? And it's like, it's weird because he'll be like, Zand. And then you're like,
yeah, that's had to taken some practice. There's a YouTube video, and it's from like a decade ago, and it's a guy who's singing popular songs, but like he shifted all of the lyrics like a syllable behind.
Okay.
So he's playing the song normally, but everything's shifted back, and it's so weird.
Oh, yeah.
And it had to have
totally
taken
throws you
so
off.
much practice.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. You'd have to like work it all out on paper and then like learn it.
Yeah.
But it's impressive. And this is a similar thing, but for less time. And he can probably do whatever he wants to do, and no one will notice if he's performing it.
Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I don't think I even knew about the harmonies, but I was pretty dumb, right?
No, I didn't even notice that he like did that thing at the end until just this week. So.
Yeah, I think I kind of knew it, but like I was refreshed on it this week. I was like, oh yeah, he does like drop syllables. And then, of course, it leads to a kind of like big rise up, fall down for this finish. At your door.
Yes, you get that cool harmonization right at the end. Another thing that gets like explicitly pointed out in that How I Met Your Mother episode, where they start to like, when they're singing it together, start to harmonize together and be like, "Oh, that was the best one yet," kind of thing.
Right, like let's go again.
Yeah,
like, we could get it this time. Yeah. How I Met Your Mother, huh? What a show.
Yeah, I have a lot of mixed feelings about that show. There's a lot of things that did not age very well.
No, certainly
but I used to love it.
I know. I was crazy about it because other people were crazy about it, and I was like, sandwiches or joints? This is fucking crazy. Time goes on, you're like, oh shit, it was just our generation's friends, huh? All right.
Who knew? We couldn't have known at the time.
No. What I couldn't have known until I watched it this week is that the music video is just a lot of footage from Benny and June.
Yeah, I've seen clips of this music video before.
Yeah.
But the Benny and June stuff never comes up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, because coming into this week, I was like, yeah, it's just they're playing in front of a green screen. It's kind of fun. It's, as kind of like low budget and fun as the song itself. Like, it's pretty simple. But no, yeah, it's green screened over a bunch of Benny and June footage with then cuts to Benny and June footage.
Yeah, and that's like pretty much it. Like, you mostly see the brothers singing it and playing it. And it shows the band too. They don't really get close-ups on their faces.
Yeah, which you can really appreciate how much his mouth moves to enunciate everything.
He really is, yeah. There's like a lot of teeth and lips going on there.
Yeah, he's using the full mouth.
I mean, they're proclaiming, right? Like, everything about this just like supports that. It just feels so singular. I don't know. And like, they're a band that has a whole career and many other songs, but something about it, like, they got the name right,
Yeah, they hit it. They're like, what are we doing? We got a guitar and we're kind of shout singing stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, there you go. They did it.
They did it.
Anyway, but that's the video. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to get into the fucking minutia of all of these silent film bits that Johnny Depp does, like, it's not really worth it. And I think the better shots in this are their weird green screen shots.
Where they're just singing, they're like bopping along to it, kind of.
Yeah, they're playing their guitars. You got the drummer in there, and like, it just makes this like kind of fun weirdo space. It's like public access TV or something. It just feels good.
Yeah, it kind of does. And I mean, obviously the green screen effects look pretty cheap now. I don't know how they would have looked back then.
I love around 110 here, 114, where the fucking bassist just kind of comes careening across the green screen. You're like, yeah, dog, that's an effect, I guess.
All right, where's that bassist? He just slides across.
Just pans across. You're like, wow.
Wow, bass. Yeah, I mean, this is the same year Jurassic Park came out. So that's sort of, I mean, obviously early in special effects days. But they existed.
They existed, yeah. And well, yeah, you got two Scottish lads who like this is their hit. This is their second album.
Yeah.
And like, so how much budget were they given for what was going to be their biggest song of all time?
Can't be that much. That much.
And only done because, we're talking 1993, 5 years after the song was made, because it became a U.S. hit.
Yeah. Because of, I guess, the movie, which was a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting. But yeah, not too much to say about it.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch, but
they're fun to watch. It's, it's just not a magnificent music video, but I do like their green screen bits, and that's That's all there is to be said about it.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about some covers. But
We do.
first, a short break.
Boo. Boo.
And we're back! To talk about some covers. Starting in the year 1998, another 5 years passes, and then we get NajwaJean or NajwaJean.
That I will walk 500 miles and I will walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 5,000 miles to fall down at your door.
NajwaJean.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, they're Spanish, right?
Spanish.
Is it Nawa? Let me look. Naj, what's that J sound? Help me, IPA Spanish.
Oh, yeah, it would be like
You're my only
NajwaJean.
No, I think it's. I'm gonna just keep saying NajwaJean.
All right. Najwa. Formed in 1996, these two. It's a group formed by Spanish actor / singer Najwa Nimri. Najwa Unrutica and Carlos.
Oh, I sure don't know how to pronounce that.
Buddy.
Nope, don't know. Anyway,
The X.
she's a Spanish actress and singer. He's a DJ and record producer. They
Yes.
formed a group together. They're kind of like she and him, but Spanish.
Yes. Who is she and him?
Zoe Deschanel and some other guy.
Okay.
Oh wait, is that she and him? Yeah, I think so.
She and him. Yeah, Zoe Deschanel and some other guy. You're exactly right. M. Ward.
Yeah.
My ward. I'm Zoe Deschanel, and this is my ward.
Exactly. My word. Or like, I mean, for a similar example, Got a Girl with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Dan the Automator.
The fuck? Why do all of these bands exist with some random like famous actor?
Yeah.
I just didn't know about any of these. Music producer Dan the Automator Nakamura.
Yeah.
I love you, but I must drive off this cliff now is the name of their first studio album. Okay, not important though. We got to talk about NajwaJean and this sort of like trip hop, quote unquote, version of this song.
I believe that. That's not a genre I can identify all that well.
It's like hip hop, but like on drugs.
But like on drugs, yeah. Well, I saw indie pop and I was like, yeah, that sounds right.
That also sounds right.
It's definitely a lot more electronic.
Yeah. We're
To be
relying
very
on like
vague.
synth.
Fast drums.
Fast drums.
And like
sort of like random noises in the back. There's like a loop of this like
yeah, it's kind of a lot of that like reverberating sound. Like they play the guitar and it's like bah, 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 you know.
Yeah. You mentioned fast drums. This moves from like a more ambient space to something that's kind of like drum and bass. Something that, because I was like, oh, kind of like Earthling, and then Earthling's Dave Bowie's drum and bass album.
Yes, for sure.
Like particularly those drums. Also, I guess the bass.
Probably the bass, but yeah, I mean, you kind of described like the backbone of the whole thing.
Yeah.
The other thing they do pretty deliberately is change the cadence of the like main chorus lines.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would walk 500
miles
and I would walk 500
more.
And I remember hearing that and thinking like, she's going to have to say the last couple words very fast if she wants to keep up. And yeah.
She sure does.
At your door. Like,
yeah.
And yeah, that's that part.
She wastes no time getting to the ba-da-da-das, or as she calls them, down the under.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that's what I heard. So they do switch it up. I mean, some of them do change that part and just like you just gotta say random syllables, right?
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Let's make that very clear. All you gotta fucking do
is say random syllables.
A random collection of syllables.
But it's pretty even. Once the drums come in, like it does kind of a build to the start because, like you said, it starts very ambient. Once those drums come in, it's pretty even. It does do a little like cut down when she says "when I'm lonely," like for that line when they try to make it like a little sad.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty much
very-
it. And then kind of right at the end, like it drops just to piano, but then it's like we need epic strings, but not for very long.
It briefly becomes like a U2 song.
Yeah, but very briefly.
Last 10 seconds or something. Like,
yeah.
it's very brief. But yeah, like you said, very even tempered throughout. And that's such a weird move to be like, what if we did 500 miles but on Prozac so that there's no like emotional highs or lows?
Yeah, it is unusual to like not have that.
Yeah.
But it sounds reasonably good, I think.
Yeah, from a like if I take away the fact that it's 500 miles, it sounds fine. It's a fine enough sounding song, but like when I then account for the lyrics and then like what are we trying to get out of those lyrics with this performance, I start to get a little confused.
Yeah, it's a bit, I guess, like what I would say, it has that sort of evenness and you can kind of get lost in it and like it just sort of washes over you.
This could be the journeying part. You could say this is this person walking because it has, especially with those drums, a great driving feel to it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it moves.
this is you walking. This is you moving those 500 miles.
It doesn't have the same like proclamation feeling,
No, certainly not.
but it does kind of feel like someone is maybe thinking those things to themselves.
Yeah, it's a little more internal, this version, a little more, they're like internalized and focused on their goal. They're goal-oriented.
Dun-de-undun.
Dumb. Yeah, that's, I thought it was a weird choice, but it's also, like, fine. It is, like we said, a random collection of syllables.
Yep.
It goes strangely big at the end with strings and stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know, like, I'm going back and forth on, like, should there have been more of that? I don't know if it needed it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think yes. I think maybe yes. Like you have the outro section be a little more of that, like the last 30 seconds. It doesn't need to be that much
like
more.
20 seconds.
Like 20 seconds. Double it. Just double it. Because as the last 10 seconds, unless, of course, we talk about these styles of music, drum and bass, dance music, and sometimes that last 10 seconds is the crossfade section.
Right.
Crossing into the next track. So maybe it works really great for that. And it's out of context here.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That kind of makes some sense. We get that as you move into another song.
Yeah, maybe. But a weird choice. What's a not so weird choice is for a bunch of Irish vocalists to do this, and that's Celtic Thunder and George Donaldson in 2009.
And I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles and falls down at your door.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard not to say that with an accent. So I think it was good to do the action hero voice on that. Celtic Thunder.
Thunder. Yeah, so we are in Ireland now. We crossed between islands.
Yeah, both in terms of who we're talking about, and Alex and I actually, during the break, just kind of flew out to Ireland to get this part done.
We're in Ireland. We're in Dublin?
Yeah.
Wait.
Like laying down some vocal dubs in Dublin.
I'm like, wait, which is the one that's in Northern Ireland?
We're east of Finchley, north of Eden. What the fuck?
Cool. That's
a loose reference to that second version you two did of Beautiful Day.
Of Beautiful Day, that's right. Yeah, the only reason I was pausing is because I said Dublin. I was like, wait, shit, is that Ireland or Northern Ireland? Although we're just talking about the island, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. We're talking about the island of Ireland. These guys are an Irish singing group backed by the Celtic Thunder Band.
Right.
They use big set pieces in live performances. And now reading my notes and I watched a performance of this, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They do use big set pieces.
Yeah, I did not watch the performance of this, but yeah, they seem to have like pretty like exciting live shows. And
yeah, it looks like they're at a kind of like at a park. Like they've made like they have like a gazebo that everybody's playing on and some park benches and shit. George Donaldson, one just a member of Celtic Thunder. I don't exactly know why he's being singled out here. He must have a solo career otherwise. Passed away in 2014 though, so he's no longer with us. These guys were formed in 2007. And yeah, so George Donaldson is the one singing lead on this. This is a pretty tame version of Proclaimers. It's kind of exactly what you would expect. A bit sanded down with more singers on the track.
Yeah, this is a really close cover. Like they kind of changed the sound, but That's it.
Yeah, we get electric guitar. It's like a big
Yeah.
change. The muted guitar is now electric.
Yeah, I guess the vocal performance is maybe the interesting part because he does. Well, there's a few other things.
Mhm.
He does this like vibrato thing at the end of lines, which I think sounds pretty.
I'm gonna be.
Me. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be-
yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. So that's a cool singing style. And then they have some other like they bring in flutes on the chorus.
I do like the flutes.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It sounds
sound.
almost like ending credit music for like a fantasy video game.
Kind of does. And yeah, and I mean this one does. I mean I do like the bigger sound to it. You know.
Yeah.
It works well enough. They have that. They bring in strings later on, and then like a huge chorus for all the backup vocals.
Yeah, everybody
it
comes
doesn't-
in there.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the personality that you get from the original, really, but it has a largeness,
Yeah.
fullness.
And I think, yeah, you can kind of bank on that. Like we talked about with the original song, it seems fucking built for people to sing along to.
Yeah,
So adding more voices in your professional group doesn't really make it sound worse. It just seems kind of appropriate. It's like, oh, yeah,
that makes sense.
of course, let's sing along.
And it had a bit of a folk feel, so just adding some like flutes or maybe whistles. I'm not sure. And all
Yeah.
that. And then also later on, there's like accordion or possibly melodica, like that kind of sound. Like
yeah,
really-
I did hear that. And I was accordion question mark, which maybe means it's a melodica.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes. It just sounds like it's reeds. Right.
Mhm.
And then like once they get to that final chorus, it's like it's massive. Like everything comes in. It's big.
Yeah, it's all big. If you see him, so I think it was kind of fun to watch the performance because George Donaldson's big move. Anytime like the backing singers need to sing or he expects the audience to sing, he does this big like swinging two fingers point at whoever needs to be singing.
It's like directing.
Yeah, kind of. And it's just like it's kind of funny. You can tell he's having a blast. And then in the da 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 sections, he will point to the instrumentalists who are doing it, and then he'll do some little air guitar while they're singing.
That is fun.
Yeah, so they're having fun with this. You're never gonna be like, I should listen to this over the original version. You're never
No,
in your
I
life
don't
gonna be
think
like,
so.
I gotta hear the Celtic Thunder one. But like,
Unless you're like, I just need an accordion and also
yeah, I need
to
an
hear-
accordion and some flute. I
gonna
just
be-
need some more trad Irish instruments in this.
Yeah, and I guess that's my other question is like, I don't know how like Celtic this is specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but they obviously have like a few touch points in there, and it sounds nice.
Yeah.
But like it didn't strike me as like that traditional sounding, especially with the electric guitar.
Yeah, I think you could really, because they are using like electric guitar and shit on this. If they had
Yeah.
focused even more on like, could you put a banjo in Celtic? I don't know, but that might play a little more into this folky element, and yeah, take us to that space more than just this sort of like Irish tinged, Celtic tinged experience.
Yeah,
Give us the full deal, and I think I might like this a bit more.
yeah, but it was solid.
Yeah, solid singers. They're all right. Now let's get sad. We've had enough. Let's just get fucking sad as fuck here.
I switched the order around a little bit.
Did ya?
Yeah, well, I don't think this one's sad. So I think Norway Animals is actually.
Oh,
before.
you're right. I do actually even have that listed here. I just didn't switch their positioning in my sheet here.
Okay.
Norway Animals 2013.
But I wouldn't walk 500 miles, and I wouldn't walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I walk
You've heard of the Animals. These aren't them.
So the ones from Norway.
These are the ones from Norway.
Could not find much info on this group. They only seem to exist in 2013.
Yeah.
They're Norwegian.
Yes.
They are doing an accent.
They sure are, buddy.
And yeah, it's interesting. It like changes, right? Because they're really trying to do it. They say like goo out. Like, you know, they're like really doing the like Scottish thing.
Yeah.
But then when they say like, I have some timestamps. So 13 seconds is when they say go out.
Yeah.
But they say goo out. When I goo out. And then they say they're going to go, who goes along with you? Like, it sounds more like Dutch almost there. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they are like also, and this
Yeah.
is, I don't often hear other people trying to do accents. I don't hear someone from Norway trying to do a Scottish accent.
Yeah, it's strange. It's very strange.
It's very strange. So yeah, you get bits of their accent coming out. You get bits of them like slipping into like you said, like something more Dutch or like Danish. Like they're all over the map on this.
And honestly, like southern United States, like right in the beginning of the chorus is like, I would walk 500 miles. And you're like, what?
Yeah, you're like,
so they're doing a lot of things here. They're clearly going for Scottish and like missing sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I did note that on some lines they almost sound like Sean Connery.
Yeah.
So hitting Scottish, but not the way you want it.
But not the way you'd think. There's also so the backup vocalist feels like they're on a completely different level.
Yeah.
From the main vocals, which I guess is kind of true, but they like meld better in the original. Mm-hmm. Whereas this is like the guy's kind of laid back, and this vocalist is just giving it.
Yeah, and our lead vocalist has trouble with the high notes.
Yeah.
Partially because I think he's also trying to manage 6 accents at the same time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just get the like da 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 da, like it's so.
Yeah.
It feels so different.
I think that's their biggest problem here is they don't know what kind of sound they want to do.
Perhaps.
With that da 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 da, I would love that. Like a little punk here, go from folk to folk punk. Like, yeah. We got some juice. But like those backing vocals are almost too smooth to ever bring anything like that. Everything else just kind of hugs really close to the original. There's not a lot of room for something cool to come out here.
And then the actual sounds are not really that interesting.
Yeah, polished or focused. Or it's a bit rough all around here.
Yeah. Minor note. So there's a timestamp is 112. They say when I grow old or if I grow old. Mm-hmm. And then there's just like
That's right.
I don't know why. It's funny. It's like a dog panting.
I didn't. That's them trying to be like, that's what grown old sounds like. Is a dog pant.
So anyway, that's fun. Just a quick note.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Not great. But hey, let's now get really, really sad.
Yeah.
2014.
For the first time.
Sleeping at Last.
I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 just to be in the man who walked 1,000 miles.
Man, I think just a man
Ryan
in 2014.
O'Neal.
Yeah.
Guy
used to be Ryan
O'Neal,
his brother, and some other guy. Then it's just him. Billy Corgan got these guys signed to a major label. We talked about them for Chasing Cars.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, the name does sound familiar.
Yeah. I like the name did. I read the story and I was like, I know this fucking story.
Yeah, so. I feel like I felt the same thing, but I was like, I'm sure it happens all the time, and then just moved on. But no, I remember Sleeping at Last.
Like Billy Corgan's always signing people to major record labels.
Signing people, and then everybody leaves the band except for one person.
Yeah. And that one person is Ryan O'Neal. So here you go. It is exactly what you'd expect from somebody who is probably very in their wheelhouse covering Chasing Cars.
Oh, yeah.
It's big ambient synth, big piano chords, sad boy vocals.
Yeah, he's really going for the like heartfelt thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun. He's not proclaiming. He's just like being sad. And then he doesn't do the like da-da-das. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's probably a good choice.
Can't da-da-da when your lover's dead.
Yeah. It kind of has an idea behind it, though. Like, it's really laying it on, right? Like, it goes into the lonely line, and there's a bunch of, like, backup vocals that are, like... like, when he's talking about being lonely, and they're just...
Yeah, this, like, sad, like, kind of ooze.
Musically, piano.
Yeah, and just, like,
guitar
big
chords.
On
the chorus, like, guitar, like, adds guitar chords.
Yeah, you add a little guitar.
There is a replacement for the da-da-das, kind of. Like, they drop down, like, for that chorus later on, you know. Drop down even further, and then they just kind of do the ooze.
That's
for,
right.
like, a while.
Yeah, like a moment of silence. You're supposed to bow your head.
This also has a few line changes, which you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Right at the end. It implies the relationship has at least ended.
Yeah.
It says, I hope I'm going to be Instead of I know I'm gonna be.
I know I'm gonna be, yeah, and then I'm gonna dream about the time I had with you.
Yeah. So it's all like past tense. He's very sad. At least, I mean, he changed something. He made it. He changed the. Like the song, there's an idea behind it, right?
Yeah, he technically, I mean, you're right. He succeeds in doing what he sets out to do.
Yeah, but
and
it's just
clear.
like such a bummer.
It just is like no fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the most boring version of the no fun version.
I suppose, and there's, I mean, spoilers. 2 more.
2 more that are also no fun.
We'll talk about those. Is it the most boring one? This was not my last place.
Okay. I think you're right in that the next one is a little worse. But I mean, like, just broadly conceptually, I think you can have a dramatic and sad version of this that's a little more, and I say this, I think, like, all the time, but like a little more Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, yeah.
Because, like, I would walk 500 miles is almost I would do anything for love.
But I won't do that.
So it can be these really sad verses and then these really big, you could have just a massive chorus of this guy like really belting it and being like, I would go the fucking distance.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't go for that.
This is just all like kind of sad TV special. Everybody's dying and sad. It's a montage of tears.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, ultimately I'm a little bit like, we've kind of alluded to this, but I haven't said it explicitly, so I want to say it now.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed feelings about just the idea of like making this a sad thing, because it's so simple,
Yeah.
and it's like silly in some ways, and then when you make it sad, I don't know, it just feels like kind of sappy, and maybe that's fine. That's fine. I don't know.
That's the big move
for
any song. People are like, what if it's sad? But it's your mileage may vary, and I get that it's like the perfect 180 for this, but it takes so much away from what makes the song good.
I just don't know if it like, is it too simple? Maybe I just know the original too well. I don't know.
Maybe, but I do think like you can have a version where like even there's something a little punk rock where you could be like, oh, I'm kind of like a scungy, dirtbag or whatever, but I'd do this. A bit of like The Promise in there. Where it's like, I know I'm a piece of shit, but I'd go 500 miles for you. You could have that energy there and still have it be up and be cool and fun, I think. I think fun is so key to this song is ultimately what it comes down to. And yeah, Sleeping at Last sucks that right out to replace it with Bummers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's a bummer. And so is Keith Jack in the same year, 2014.
Yeah, this is a guy, he was on a talent show, but it was like a Broadway focused talent show.
Any Dream Will Do, which offered the chance to be the next West End Joseph for the hit musical Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in 2007.
Thanks, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
ALW. No, he didn't. He was the runner-up.
So, pretty good. He's a pretty good Broadway type guy.
Yeah.
West End, obviously. Similar idea. Keith Jack. Yeah. And then there's also, it's a duet.
Yeah, I think this is Alison Parsons.
Alison Parsons is the name I found as well.
Yes.
Just from there's like a YouTube video.
Yeah, like a live performance.
But she's not credited on this recording, which is unfortunate.
I can't find shit, because there's an Alison Parson who is a musician and isn't this Alison Parsons.
It's not Alan Parsons.
And it's certainly not Alan Parsons.
But yeah, this is definitely more on the musical theater side.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like lots of sad piano.
Yeah. But the piano is, a little more musical theater tuned than the sort of like, I guess, slow emo maybe of Sleeping at Last.
I believe that. Yeah, that sounds right. Is it slow emo or is it musical theater? There are definitely similarities between the two.
Yeah, the similarity being there's a piano.
There's a piano. It's a piano sound. But like I said, it's a duet, so that means that they have to choose who sings what lines. And kind of at first seems like they might alternate, but then Keith just like kind of takes over.
Yeah.
And they go back the other way as well. She gets a fair number of lines, but at the beginning it's kind of funny because she says the first line. Although they kind of they don't do the lines in order. They just kind of mash them up and say things all over the place, and they like make sure that only Keith says any lines about being a man.
Right. That makes sense, I guess.
If I'm going to be the man who goes along
I'm going to be the one is a pretty easy replacement.
Such an easy replacement.
I don't fucking know.
And then, okay, something I did not like is the first chorus. They harmonize. They do the like resolution. That I really didn't like. I felt like that was too early in the song. Maybe I'm just picking nits. But
they give you the fucking juice right on the first one. They're like, here, we're gonna do the door. No, come on.
And it's like, what? Why? Make us wait for it.
Yeah,
it's a tasty bit of a tasty little run.
Yeah, and the song this slow and sappy, you're already removed so much energy. Give us something to look forward to. Like,
give us something to look forward to.
Give me something here, man. So sad. This is another had one where they're like, I'm gonna dream about the time I had with you.
Yeah.
This would be played at like an in memoriam. And you get like faces superimposed over like something. It's like, oh damn.
Yeah, it has that feeling. Just like, images with dates.
Yeah.
On them. And you're like, oh, rest in peace, whoever is no longer with us that we loved, presumably. But yeah, I didn't like the setup of this one. This is probably my last place for the sad versions.
Oh yeah. I think you might be right there because I think the other sad version of this has a little more like juice behind it. It's got some vocal
juice
group, but like
compared to this. The harmony, the duet rather is fine.
Yeah, I think conceptually this like a duet's a good idea. You can make this because none of the lines are specifically like about or even like gendered really beyond I'm going to be the man. So trading the lines back and forth speaks to like a very joyful love. Like, oh, I'm going to do this with you. We're going to be together. Isn't that great? But yeah, here it really, I don't think is put to good use.
Yeah. And even like, I get like, if you want to push like, oh, we're both in this relationship and realize it's not working. And that makes us both sad. For whatever reason. Like that sucks for everybody. But also like, I don't know. I didn't get a whole lot out of that.
Yeah.
And it's never like the time we had or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it's executed well. I think if they'd done an upbeat musical theater version of this, they'd get a lot more mileage out of it. But
probably
they didn't do that. They went sad.
Yep.
And yeah, it was crazy.
It's 2014. We were all sad.
We were all sad in 2014 because
unlike now, we're all happy now.
We're all fucking stoked now. We were stoked in 2017 because the Nintendo Switch came out. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Everybody was playing Breath of the Wild, and Screaming Orphans was releasing their version of this song.
But I will walk 500 miles and I will walk 500 more just to be that man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down mansion door. And I'm working.
Yeah. Screaming Orphans. I mean, they sound like a punk outfit, and the intro kind of makes it sound like it's going to be really like heavy and metallic. It's not that.
It certainly is not.
But the very beginning, like it almost sounds like they're hitting a bell.
Yeah,
but it's like a guitar, I assume. That's
it's either distorted. Guitar or like an electric violin.
Dun, 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 dun. It's not that. It is very bouncy.
Yeah, this one is very bouncy. It leans into like folk.
Yes, they're Irish, so it's a little more of like an Irish folk sound. This one feels more Irish folk than Celtic Thunder to me, just like because the way they sing, the fact that there's like several women singing.
Yeah.
I think this is an all female band as well.
All female, from Donegal, Ireland. Celtic folk, indie pop, songwriter, traditional group.
Yeah, there you go. And they bring it into that vein. There's some rock in there too. You get that distorted guitar with like some muting, but they sing together a lot. There's several voices, at least two, maybe three.
As many as 4.
Possibly as many as 4. And it really, like, throughout, this one really has the, like, pub sing-along feeling.
Yes.
They really lean into that. Because, like, really, it's them kind of singing in unison. So I think almost any time you have that, like a group in a band singing in unison for basically the whole thing, that's the feeling you get, right?
Yeah.
Also, the, like, folkishness of it kind of has that. But.
Yeah, they're like general folky nature, and their music video really emphasizes drinking at the pub.
It sure does.
But we'll get to that soonish. I think there's definitely an electric violin on the track.
I think so. Yeah, there's like some like maybe standard fiddle and like electric violin.
Yeah,
there's for sure electric violin sounds on there, and then there's an accordion / reed type instrument.
Yeah, that comes in on like verse 2.
Yeah.
And they say the word haver kind of funny. They're like haver. They add like a Y in there or something.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like they're doing a slightly different accent.
Yeah.
Or maybe changing it, because like they do change some words to refer to drinking more in this one.
Let's talk about that.
Do it.
So yeah, their post-chorus is the ba-da-da-da section is now shot of vodka, and a rum and a rum and a rum and a rum and Coke.
A rum and a rum and a rum and a rum and a Coke. And I did need the music video to figure that out, because it gives you the lyrics for that part.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
That sucks, right?
It sucks.
I don't think it's good.
No, it's kind of silly. I mean, it's consistent, right? They really seem to be focusing on the drinking thing, especially if you watch the music video.
Oh, yeah.
You get that. And to the point where I'm like, is this song, are they singing to drinks? Like,
yeah, because in the video, there's not even another person.
There's not another person. There's a house.
Yeah.
But when he's in the house, there's no one else there.
There's no one else
so he's
there.
Like, is that, like, I want to be with you all the time, but the you I want to be with is like a bottle of whiskey? Like,
yeah, so is this supposed to be like a devastating alcoholic song? Like, because then it should sound like Sleeping at Last or Keith Jack.
Sleeping at Last. I don't know. Is that, it's like a drink? Is it, I mean, they turned it into a drinking song, I guess. Which is not something I have really a history with.
I guess me neither. I feel like one, even in a pub, ba-da-da-da plays better than shot of vodka and a rum and a rum and a rum and a rum and Coke.
Yeah, and if they are playing this and you don't know that, like, you're not going to say those. Like, I couldn't make out what they were saying.
Oh, I could, because I guess I know.
Because I was like, they're saying something, but what is it? And then it's like, when I saw it written out, I was like, okay, well, if that's a rum and a rum and a rum and a rum and a Coke, then the other line is shot of vodka. Like, I figured that out, but only once.
I think the first time I heard it, I was like, what the fuck are they saying? And then I listened to the saying, I was like, oh, shot of vodka. Okay. But also, who's ordering that? Nobody in the history of my life has ever, I've never seen somebody like, hey, can I get a shot of vodka and a rum and Coke? Like,
yeah, it's interesting.
It doesn't even, because even if you're going to make it like a drinking song and you're using this kind of like folk pub sounding piece, make it something that's like a stout, or like you could do a Boilermaker, which is a shot of whiskey inside of a beer, like a lager. Like there's so many like things you could draw.
Oh, you think it could be like different
culture.
Drinks?
Yeah.
These ones aren't the right drinks. I'll admit, that's not something I'm very familiar with.
I don't even think you should do it. I think just like we said earlier, random syllables work fucking great.
Any syllables that are not words.
Especially, you're not the original here. Like you said, nobody's going to know what this is unless they're familiar with the Screaming Orphans and familiar with their version of this song.
Yeah.
So you're killing the most sing-alongable moment of this song.
Yeah. And that's too bad.
That is too bad.
Does this one have anything else? I do kind of like the way they resolve, like, later in the song. We just mentioned that they do it too early in the Keith Jack one. Kind of get a drum roll, and then you get some fiddle and some accordion. It's like the 2:14. That's when they start.
Yeah.
Get like a slow piano run. So I kind of like that part.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
And I mean, especially like, I think it works pretty well as like a bar sing along, like a pub sing along.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Tease out those last two words to you. To
ya. And it has like generally, I'd say, a pretty solid sound in that vein.
Yeah,
so, reasonable cover.
I think this version is reasonable enough. I think Shot of Vodka really fucking takes the legs out from under it.
But does the music video save it?
No,
No.
not in my opinion. I think I first and I listened to this, took notes, and I was like, it's not bad. The shot of vodka thing, And then I watched the music video, and I liked the song less.
Yeah, it's all animated, right?
Yes.
And in fact, the very start, they have like a flip book, and like so it's animated hands opening a flip book, and then that's where like the story happens is within this flip book. And yeah, I don't know, it's not very well animated. Like it doesn't look that good. Like the art style is not that interesting. It's very like flash animation.
Yeah,
it's all black and white.
Yeah, black and white, static background, and then just our one main dude is like you can tell it's when you watch old cartoons and you know something's gonna like move in a scene because it's like colored differently. Yeah. It's that like kind of jarring juxtaposition.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the most part, everything else is like static or very simple, and then he's kind of more fluid. And it's mostly just this guy like walking or stumbling through scenes because he's just like drinking and walking, and then like passes out in front of his door when he gets home. And then there's a brief part where he's like, I'm like making t-shirts.
Yeah, he works as a screen printer, I guess.
Or something, and then like has a bag of euros.
Yeah, a lot of it is just like, when I get money, and then we just get a shot of a bag of euros.
Yeah. But like, it's very, I don't know, it's just, and then it like shows people having a good time in a bar, animated people.
Yeah. And then when they do their shot of vodka, it's all just these like fake like bar photos of people like having drinks. I really disliked one that there's shots of him walking and there'll be a sign, it's like 500 miles. And then another one will say 500 miles more. And then there'll be one that says 1,000 miles. And it's like, well, no.
Now you've walked 2,000 miles.
Now you're walking 2,000 miles. It should be like a welcome to 1,000 mile sign if you're going to do that. I don't even think it's a very good bit. And
right, because like in this direction, 500 miles. And it's like, you could say that in a lot of directions.
Yeah. If you go to 233, he's sailing to get to the 1,000 miles.
True.
That's not in the song.
Yeah, he sails.
He didn't say I'd sail 1,000 miles.
Yeah, he sails 1,000 miles at that one point. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But yeah, I was like listening to him like, is this about alcoholism?
Yeah, it's just like,
or I was watching it rather. And then there is one like brief section where he like has a dream of some like Irish dancing, and then it briefly becomes a more interesting art style.
Yeah.
But
that was interesting. Last. Yeah, it's so brief.
And then that's pretty much it. Like it does the story bookend. You get the flip book closing.
It
says the end. And then he like winks, and that's it. It's a music video. A lot of work going into what I don't think is very good animation.
Yeah. Well, in a classic example of maybe we were wrong, though, Timothy Sprangler 4071 a year ago said, "This is the definitive version of this song, I'm Ho." That's in my humble opinion, folks. In fact, I love it so much that I've trained my ears to hear Shot of Vodka in every version, including the Proclaimers original, which just has wordless vocalizing in that section.
Wow. Well, I mean, I guess we got it wrong then.
I guess we're fucking fools. No, I think Timothy Sprangler here can eat one. He's out of his goddamn mind.
Timothy. Timmy.
Timmy living a lie. But who isn't living a lie is the UK-based vocal harmony group. You know them, you love them. The Overtones, 2021.
The Overtones.
And I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles.
Yeah, all right. So this is another sad version.
Yes.
We really picked a lot of those, by which I mean I really picked a lot of those.
You picked them. Don't you fucking loop me in here.
So I'm glad we can discuss them all and compare and contrast them.
Yeah, sometimes there's a benefit to that.
Yeah. In this case, I mean, I'd say some are better than others.
Did I try to find a different version to fit in this playlist after listening to it? Yeah.
Maybe.
Did I find it? No, unfortunately. But these guys are the UK-based vocal harmony group. Their discovery story is what I just want to note here because it's mildly discovered by a Warner Bros. Talent scout while working as decorators at a shop near Oxford Street. They were singing on their tea break. If that isn't the most British way to get discovered.
Yeah. It's like, it's perfect. Singing on your tea break, and then you become a.
I will just sit down for a
vocal harmony
sport, eh?
group.
And then, do your vocal warm up, and some guy's like, hey, so you fellas singing?
I say, where's that sound coming from?
Yeah, it's one of those stories that
That's
I
the voice of an
imagine-
angel.
That's the voice of at least 4 angels. I think there's 4 of them.
Yeah, looks like
I
it.
could be wrong, but yeah, here we go. These guys sing on big stages and wear suits. They're those kind of guys.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, the sound, we've talked about similar arrangements, you know, it's a lot of piano with lots of echo, and then like big cymbal swells.
Yeah.
We've talked about this style before. I don't know if we've talked about these guys specifically.
I don't think we have.
And like strings and flutes and stuff, so it's like kind of
Yeah.
symphonic in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Still sad, but like you said before, it has a little more juice.
Yeah.
I find when you get a group like this, when it's just like 4 singers and they
Mhm.
just trade off somewhat arbitrarily,
yeah.
or like for range or whatever, it feels a little impersonal.
It definitely
me.
does.
Especially with a song like this, more so than the duet. But it feels a lot bigger, you know. Another thing that I thought was kind of neat was because they get like really big and like maximalist at the end.
Mm-hmm.
They throw in like some da-da-da-das, like just
Mhm.
in the like buried in the background, which I thought was fun.
Oh, yeah. Isn't there's badidity?
Is there badidity?
I think so. That's what I've written. I've written a note here that just says badidity. No context, so I have to assume.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I forgot to write the timestamp down,
Yeah, I
but
did
it's like
too.
kind of buried.
Yeah, it is. Because they don't do like a dedicated section for those vocalizations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's every trick you would expect from a vocal group that gets this big. This rich, like triumphant finish we get where it's like rising strings and big piano and they're doing their big vocal just to be the man. And you're like, okay, yeah, we get it. Yeah, super sappy, like sappier than even Keith Jack. There's a lot of gentle whoos from them at the start. So you know that they're good at vocalizing. Yeah, like you said, a bit of that impersonalness when you get a group like this.
Yeah.
And part of it is I think when I hear a group like this, I'm like, you guys are so fucking satisfied with your little voices, aren't you?
Your little voices.
Oh, I think you're a couple of pretty fucking singers, huh?
Well, you sound fine. But yeah, it definitely, I mean, a similar feeling to the other where it's like, it feels like they're trying to make the song more than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like make it this like passionate plea when really it has this mundanity to it. And they're just making it like, you know, I don't want to say putting lipstick on a pig because I think the original song still rules. But like it's a mismatch, you know?
Yeah, is it more like gilding the lily, perhaps?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Mostly I'm trying to say that, like, it's incongruent. Is that what gilding the lily?
That's like putting extra zazz on something that's already naturally perfect and beautiful.
Yeah, I guess that, yeah.
So it's adjacent to it. I see what you're saying. It's
like, it's not like I think the original thing is not good enough to be done this way.
Like,
I just think they don't really mesh.
Yeah, it's like rain on your wedding day. Is that maybe more appropriate?
Yeah, it's ironic.
No, what is the catchphrase for that or the saying? It's not like a bull in a china shop.
No, I don't know.
Hey, if y'all know what it is, send it in because I'll fucking know.
Shout it at us somehow.
Shout it
I'm sure
out
there's
loud.
ways that we'll share with you later.
Yeah, write it in a bottle. Write a message, throw it in a bottle, chuck it into the ocean. And if it's the Pacific, it might reach me.
Address it to us.
Yeah,
obviously.
so people know. So whoever gets it can at least get the message to the right place.
Yeah. Keep throwing it back in the ocean until it gets us.
Yeah, eventually it's going to hit one of us. All that to say, yeah, I'm not crazy about this one.
No.
They do a pregnant pause on the chorus for every. So it's like, and I would walk 500 miles, and I Would walk 500 more. Like, okay.
Like, all right, I get it. I get it.
Again, yeah, some of that like fake heaviness. We're like, now it's even more important. Yeah. That's this version though, Alex. Anything else to really say about it?
No, not really.
Not really. Which means it's time for a final verdict. We got 3 categories today: the worst version, the best version, and the most physically fit version. Who's going to be able to handle those 1,000 miles? You tell me, dog.
I think I know.
You think you know, Alex? Worst version. What's it going to?
Worst version. There's a few contenders.
There is a few.
There's a few contenders for this one. I'll probably ultimately give it to Keith Jack. I really didn't think that the duet did anything for it. Didn't really like his arrangement. I feel like Norway Animals is close, but Keith Jack is who's going to get it.
I feel like the whole bottom half of this playlist I can really take swings at for one reason or another.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Screaming Orphans. They really left a bad... Like, honestly, coming off my first listen, I was like, hey, these guys might be the best one this week. And then just listen to it again and again. I, like, it really grated on me.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't listen to it enough, because I'm not going to pick it for best, but it's a contender. Not that it's that strong. It's not the strongest playlist.
Yeah, I don't think we've got some great ones this week. I also think that speaks to that the song doesn't really need to be covered. It just needs to be sang in pubs. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, Screaming Orphans is my worst. What is the best, Alex?
I think it might be NajwaJean.
I think you might be right.
Certainly the one, like, almost by default. Like, it can't be any of the other ones, so it has to be that one.
Yeah, I feel like
that's a decent cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid enough. I like, even if I don't like the like translation of the material or like the story of the song.
Yeah.
The instrumentation, everything itself is actually pretty listenable, pretty fun. I like the drums and things like that. So yeah, NajwaJean, way to go. Alex, who's the most physically fit? Who's crushing those 1,000 miles?
Most physically fit. Honestly, these Celtic Thunder guys, they could really be like Viking types. I think it's them. They seem like they could walk that distance.
I believe that.
Weird Viking costumes with like braided beards and stuff.
Hell yeah. I think they could do it. I feel like they've gotten like a name like Celtic Thunder could as easily be a running club as much as it is a singing group. So like, yeah, I'm putting my weight behind these guys too. Celtic Thunder for the physical win.
All right.
And that's our main segment done, folks. Those are our opinions. You got similar ones, different ones. Want to talk to us about a version we didn't talk about? I think there's some. Hit us up on the app formerly known as Twitter, #CoverMePod, @SnakyMe, some Alex Wise guys. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. You can also email those to us at covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on YouTube Music. We're on Amazon Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Pocket Casts. We're on Podurama. There's a new podcast app. I don't know if it's new, but a lot of you are listening to us on that recently. It's called, I'm going to find it here. Don't you worry. It's called, please hold caller. Hang on. It's called AntennaPod. 31% of you apparently listen to us on that, so we're there. That's how you know we're there.
Interesting.
There you go. Me neither. Till very recently here. Now, that does it. Wait. You share us, you review us, you share us, tell your friends, neighbors, family, loved ones about us. What you can really do this week to get the word out is join like a whatever running. It's it's the running season. There's going to be marathons, triathlons, other lawns that you do. Just put any little jersey that says "Cover Me" on it. There you go. People will be like, "Hey, neat shirt," and you'll say, "Hey, you got to listen to the pod, bro. It's good for your running." Market it as like a running supplement. That's the plan. Helps you run better. That does it for today's episode of Cover Me. And as we always say on Cover Me, as we always say on Cover Me, when I'm dreaming, well, I know I'm going to dream. I'm going to dream about the time when I'm with Cover Me.